Okay, we're back because, hey, back to back deck looking at is, what we like to do on a Monday night here. Um, this is actually a deck that I've been waiting for quite a while. I have not looked through this deck fully, although I have zipped through it when I first got it. I did open it and unpackage the cards, but I haven't looked at it too closely yet. And so I thought we would take a quick peek at it. I was following this artist here, Abigail Larson, and she does a lot of artwork that is very like fairy tale, but adult version fairy tales. And I knew what I was getting with this, right? So I knew that this wasn't probably a deck that I was going to be using for client readings. I don't tend to use overly thematic decks like this for client readings. It was really more the fact that I love the concept of fairy tales. I loved her illustrative art. I know that it's going to be on the sexy side. I know that it's going to be on the just beautiful seductress of the fairy tale wood side. I kind of knew what I wasn't going into it blindly. I knew that this was it's the dark wood, and I have to get it for my collection more so than being a deck that I would use for clients or something like that. This is just a me deck because of that. And so, so that's the prelude to this, right? I will say that when I first opened the deck up, I did have a degree of disappointment. And the disappointment was more it's a standard size, and we're going to look at it in just a second. It needed to be larger. Like we just looked at this, it needed to be larger for the art. If you follow her art as an artist, her art is just a beautiful illustrate. It felt like a grown-up, sexy version of the Dark Mansion Tarot. That's what it feels like. If you like the Dark Mansion, I feel like this is like the grown-up sexy version of the Dark Mansion. But there were two things disappointed me. The size, and I knew it's Llewellyn. Like I know what the card's going to be, but it was like, oh, these should have been bigger. And B, there's a lot more ladies in here than I would have liked there to have been more men in here. And we'll see if I'm right. I haven't looked closely, so we'll find out together. So this is Llewellyn. And so, they do boxes really beautifully. Their current box, they used to do the worst. Now they do really great magnetic boxes. They're just beautifully done. This is the guidebook is really beautiful. Again, if you like stories and you like fairy tales and you like really leaning into elements of story, the guidebook is really beautiful, what I've seen. The deck is by Sasha Graham and the art is by Abigail Larson. I had seen the artist before I saw that they were making a deck. So that's kind of what I was focusing on. But you can see, hopefully you can see this well. She has a very comic book style illustrative art that is absolutely beautiful. She's an amazing artist. There's no question about that. So when you open it up, let me for a minute and go like this. You can see, look at the moon. And again, this is called the dark wood. So obviously we are leaning towards the dark here. We are not leaning towards the light. This is like, it's entering into the dark wood here in a beautiful, beautiful way. So her illustrative style is really gorgeous. So there we have that. We've got our nice little ribbon to pull it out. Now you'll see that they actually did already put that ribbon in that we were talking about last time. I had a bit of trouble getting out the Star Tarot cards out of the box like this, and they put the ribbon in there so that you can get it out easily. So that's wonderful. So we're going to come back to the cards in just a second. I do like the decorations on the bottom of it. It's just, Llewellyn does really good with their boxes now. It's a great, yes, Hannah Conda, that's a good example. You're getting, you definitely have a bit of the English Magic vibe because of that illustrative art style for sure. English Magic is great. And then again, I feel like it's like a grown-up version. And not that the Dark Mansion isn't grown up. I love that deck and I get amazing readings from it. But the art style is much more of a grown-up sexy fairy tales. Because remember, fairy tales in the forms of the ones that we look at were made for adults. They were not made for children. And so this kind of takes you back. And there was a lot more sex and things like that going on than Disney obviously has. And so this is more looking at it in those French fairy tales and those the look of that type of a fairy tale. So, well, let's take a look at the book real quick. Again, Llewellyn does beautiful books. I mean, it's kind of hard to say anything about it. This is a tarot fairy tale rich with symbolism, story, intrigue, and shadowy things, says Teresa Reed. I love that she gets to put a thing on here. Welcome to the dark wood where getting lost helps you find yourself. I do love that. Yeah, it's definitely not whimsical. I mean, there's probably some whimsy in it, but it is much more graphic novel. Very, very good way of putting it, Hannah Conda. I love graphic novels. My son loved graphic novels. Like the Sandman comics were ones that we collected. It's got that sort of feel, sense to it there. I absolutely love the pages in this deck. But so yeah, that's the book. Beautifully done. Now Llewellyn does a beautiful, like, look at this. Here, let me get my face out of the way for a minute. Just the artistic, the aesthetic of the book is gorgeous. Who doesn't like a guidebook that starts with a quote from Star Wars? Luke says, "What's in there?" And Yoda says, "Only what you take with you." Oh my goodness. Can we not absolutely love a fairy tale guidebook that starts with a Star Wars quote? That's like made for me. I've been waiting for this deck for, I don't know, it feels like it's been like a year. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just beautiful. That's all I can say about that. It's really gorgeous. Sasha Graham she's done the 365 tarot spells and the complete book of Rider-Waite-Smith. And she does, I really love this book. The 365 Tarot Spreads is a great spread book. So she does that. And the Abigail Larson is a Hugo award-winning artist specializing in macabre and gothic illustrations. And you can definitely see that. So absolutely love the aesthetic of the book. I mean, it's really beautiful. There is a section on the shadow self and the books of shadows and alchemical questions, enchantments. I mean, it just feels, come on, I love anything with the spider web in it. Welcome to the dark wood. The forest is ever so happy you have arrived. It sensed your presence, felt an opening, and called to you. Its thickets and thorns were wishing, waiting, and longing for your presence. You've responded to its siren song, and now it promises to reward you deeply. Pathways, visions, and delights are prepared for your adventure. Are you ready? Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So we've got quite an introduction here. Reading into look at how beautiful that is. Once upon a time, anything that starts with once upon a time is powerful for me. Shadow self, it goes into talking about the shadow self, talking about shadow meanings in tarot, the upside down world of reversals and different ways in which you could use them or not use them at all. Talks about a book of shadows and ideas for your own book of shadows that is there. Talks about initiation, has alchemical questions as you approach your readings. I do feel like there's some different sections than the typical books that we get over and over again. Oh, I need to plug my phone in. That might be why it's sticking a little bit. Just a minute. 1 second. Okay, we'll see if that helps. Go away, mouse. Okay. Love the falling leaves. Yeah, I mean, it's just beautifully done. Talks about enchantments, talks about patterns, talks about the numbers, which is so important, talks about the 4 suits and what each of their landscapes are, which I love. And the royal ones is what she calls the courts. So she talks about that. So then we get into spreads. Now, I would expect, because she's the one who did 365 days of tarot spreads, that we would have some, I love this, the deadly problem spread. You want it to feel, I like there to be spreads that have to do with the theme of the deck, right? Not just just not the past, present, and future. So I quite like that. We have the situation, a deadly problem and the solution, awaken inner magic, a soulmate spread, a chakra spread, a hindsight spread. I would have liked there to be more like this deadly problem because has it evened out? Somebody said it's super glitchy. I plugged it in, so I'm going to wait a minute maybe and see whether or not somebody says it clears up. On my end, it looks like it might have cleared up, but I could be wrong. We shall see. We shall see. Is it still glitchy and blurry? Okay, let's see. I did plug it in, which I'm thinking should take care of it, but my internet keeps having us reboot our modems for the last 2 days. So I could, okay, it's still blurry. So let me see if I get it to zoom in, make sure it's not the camera. And hones it in at all. I guess I'm going to persevere. Maybe if it's, if it's fine for some people, then you may need to refresh something. I'm going to persevere until we get to just looking at the single card and see if that is worth continuing. If not, we'll just have talked about the deck and I'll do a regular full walkthrough. Anyways, I would have liked them to be more of the deadly problem, but these are some good spreads. And then it gets into the cards of the dark of the wood. This is where I think this book really starts to shine because it starts as a story. Once upon a time, a girl sat beneath the circular canopy of poplar trees who had always watched over her. She was a shadow witch who had grown like a beanstalk season after season, from a warm bundle in her mother's witching arms into a ravishing young woman. One night, the fat full moon was bursting with so much magic that it drew a tall, angular boy from the shadows to the girl's side. The shadow witch was everything the boy had searched for in his darkness. She stood before him under the rustling leaves on her tiptoes and tilted her head up to receive her very first kiss. And so that it goes on. I'm not going to spoil it, but it goes on until she loses him and she has to go on to this journey. So then the whole book is based on this story. So you have this prologue here of the story, and then you start with, say, the Fool here, and we have Zero the Fool. The Fool is the archetype of the child, and then there's like this little saying, each step brings you closer to your destiny, but then it continues the story. The Shadow Witch takes her first step into the dark wood. A leap of faith is required. The timid say it is foolish to enter darkness sans light, map, or direction. Yet the fool carries on with equal parts faith and ignorance. And it goes on. And oh, plug your ears. Let me try to fix it. Okay. ears. I've just probably blasted everybody's ears now. I'm going to have to go take this off and fix it in a second. We're going to switch. I'm going to stop here for a second. I know. And it's still probably got an echo. Let me just finish this real quickly on the book, and then we'll see if this is worth continuing. So let me just finish this part, and then we'll fix everything. We'll see if we can fix it. We may just stop here and say, look, you've got enough of an idea what's going on. It's, things are not working well. We will roll with it. But the point is the whole thing becomes a story of what's happening with this Shadow Witch and her way, her way through the dark woods and out the other side. And so, of course, that's something that I love. We see this a little bit with the Enchanted Forest Tarot, but this one, it takes that to the full degree, which I absolutely adore. And it gives you a meaning, and it gives you a shadow there. And then you get to see the card in its full glory, the image. And this is, I know there's an echo. I'm going to stop in 1 second. I just want to quickly, while I have the book here, this card feels so small for this beautiful artwork. However, you get a full image of the card in the guidebook for each of the cards. And I love that. You even get that for the minor arcana. So that's a real treat. You don't need to have your cards with you to really enjoy the guidebook and to see all of the details of the cards, which I think is really amazing. So, okay, I'm going to stop this for a minute. Yeah, and this is very true. Okay, I'm going to get back here. I'm going to click on yours because I want to remember to talk about this. 1 second here. I'm going to stick this. Okay, so now let's see what I can do here. I'm going to click on my face for a minute. Okay. Audio is off. 1 second. I am going to try to. Okay. 1 second. Have patience. Or leave. I don't mind. I completely understand if you also leave. I need to connect my AirPod. My AirPods got disconnected. It was working great when the AirPods were working. I'm also going to try one other thing once that happens. Okay, 1 second. Let me take the Wi-Fi off because I can use my phones. That way that it might clear up the image problems. Hello, everybody who's coming on. We're having technical difficulties, so I apologize. It is what it is. Let me get my other AirPod because this one might have died. Well, you know what we can do here? I'm going to put this one away. Sorry, folks. We're just hanging out here. Okay, it's showing that it's connected. Is the echo gone? Oh, no, it's not connected. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go back here and reconnect the StreamYard. Echo's gone. Okay. Let me fix this. I'm sorry. We try new things, and we have to kind of roll with things not necessarily being perfect. So I apologize. I'm going to try this. Okay. Okay, I think I can take this out now. Let's see if the echo returns, because I changed it so it doesn't just stop. I'm going to add this to the stream. All right. How is the echoing? I'm going to take a drink and tell me if we're looking any crisper, number one, and number two, if our sound is okay. I wish I had some grays, but I actually don't. I mean, that's not true. I can't say I wish I had, but I have no grays. It's from my grandmother. It's just a light. So let's see. No echo, and it looks good. Okay. All righty. Let me come back here to Emery's statement just before I continue on, because one of the things that you will see is that it is just this. There's a lot of females, especially in the major arcana. But the fact of the matter is that it is a story about this shadow witch, right? So the fool that we get here at the beginning is this, she's the beginning of the story, and we're following her path through the woods. And so it's going to be mostly, you're going to see a lot of her in the story, number one. And number two, you're not going to see a lot of ethnic diversity. There's not a lot of, these are all going to be, we do see a crone. So you'll see some age, but everybody's fairly beautiful. Everybody is, I'm thinking, I haven't gone through this whole deck. There are elves in here, but everybody's, her same ethnicity, and everybody is young and fairly young and beautiful. It's a fairy tale story following her through the woods. And so I knew that when I was getting it, right? So I knew this was not necessarily one that was going to be a deck that I use for clients. I just really loved the concept of the story, and I really liked the artist's graphic novel art style. So I think that when you are aware of what this is and what the story is following, it makes more sense that that is the case. And whether that's a make it or break it for you is definitely something each person will have to figure out and decide for themselves. I did, think there might be a few more. I feel like there could have been maybe more, at least men in here, but let's see, because I haven't gone through the whole thing. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I address that, because I agree with Emery's about that. How do I turn this off? I think we decided if I did this and then this again, I could clear it. Okay. So let us continue on this little path. So I think you can see, I really love that you can get the full image versus the smaller image of the cards. There you have access to the full image. I love the aesthetic of everything about the guidebook. And then we have this continuation of the story. And you do get some, even though it is done in a story, you do have explanation of what's going on and why it's that way. So it talks about how the magician stands in a posture of enchantment, why it's there. She's pointing her up to the sky and down to the ground. Her flowing gray hair symbolizes a magician's life experience and wisdom. So it does, even though it's in the kind of style of a story, it is also addressing the imagery and why the imagery is there. And how that might relate to the image of the card. So I think that that's great that they were able to do both, to have the story element and continue the progress of the story, but still give us some idea of why they chose to depict it in a certain way and what those choices might mean. So I quite loved that aspect of it. So yeah, book, I think I love the way that the book is laid out. And again, you get, the pages, can I just talk about the pages? We'll pull them all out. I love the little girl pages in this deck. They're really sweet. Okay. So that's the guidebook. I think the guidebook is going to be a really, really nice treat. So we'll stick that over here. pull this over. Oh, I have this here because I wish the cards were that size. I wish they were at that size, if not bigger. Because I saw her artwork before I knew she was making a tarot deck, or because I've seen all of her artwork in large size on the internet, I was disappointed when I opened the box and I saw, like, oh, I wanted a bigger artwork there. I really wish it had been larger, but it's typical Llewellyn cardstock, so that's going to be the case. Okay, so I'm going to do what I did before and just show my face for a second, because I'm going to try to not make some people nauseous while I squish my tripod-y thingy down a little bit closer. I might be able to do it a little bit more. I mean, I can turn my face off. So you guys just tell me if you want me to turn my face off. I can turn my face off, but we're not really going to see any more of the card because the card is just a certain size, right? So I thought, well, we'll just be chatty and have both. But if it's annoying, I can turn it off. Okay, so let's take a look at the cards now that they're up close. Here is the back of the cards. I am never usually a fan of text on a deck, but what I really like about this is that it just looks artistic. You have the D and the W of the dark wood, but it's done in such a way that it looks like an icon, or it just looks like the side cover of the book, or an engraving on the inside cover of the book, right? It works. You've got the bat here. You've got the sort of old scroll work. You can see the little spider that's coming down. It works for the back of the deck. So it's not my absolute favorite by any means, but it's not the worst by any means either. I mean, I guess everybody's really nice and nobody's going to say, no, we don't want to see your face. So it was probably a silly question, wasn't it? We have nice people here on my channel, don't we? Okay, so in terms of the setup, you can see it is borderless. I say borderless in that there isn't a separate border that erases the image. But you do have a shadow border, I guess, which for the dark wood, I suppose, is fitting. I think I probably would have, again, preferenced it to have the full artwork without even the shadow border, but I don't mind the shadow border. We still can see the image, and it's like we're peering into a mirror and we're watching this magic mirror that's going and seeing what's happening as the shadow witch makes her way through the story. So you can see the tails, you can see the rest of the animal down here. It is just shaded. It's not taking away the image itself. So I'm okay with that. Again, because of the size of the cards, I would have liked the full color of the image taking up the whole deck, because it's a very small, or, it's a relatively small card. But I still, if they're going to put a border, I prefer this. I really like the little scroll work on the corners. Again, it feels like we're looking into a magic mirror, and I like that. So I'm not going to complain. Again, artwork style, very graphic novel, that type of a style to her artwork. And so here we see the beautiful Shadow Witch, who is in a pose very similar. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith inspired deck. It says that on the box. I knew that. I do like the inclusion of a fox and a cat, or is that a dog and a cat? Let's take a look real quick, just as we kind of get started here. The Fool, her head tilts up, her tattered clothing reflects an individual operating outside the realm of polite society. Her bag contains, ooh, look at that. Her bag contains past lives, karma, and experience. The white rose in her hand is purity and love. The black cat reflects feline magic, and the fox is cleverness. The spider is the master storyteller, and the creeping lizard is passion and fire. So again, it talks about how here, I don't see, there we go. There's a spider, there's a fox, there's a black cat, and there's a lizard down there. So I quite love that. Again, I like that even though it is a story of what's going on, the art, the creator, the writer is giving us all the cues as to what we should be paying attention to and why that's there. Why are her clothes tattered? Why is she carrying the bag? What's in her bag? Why do these animals around her? Why is she holding a rose? So it has all of those cue in so that when you're looking at the card, you can know, why those things are there. So that tells me things are done with intention, and I quite love that. You do, but once you know they're there, you can see them and you'll always see them afterwards. So I quite love that. So, okay, there we go. There's the Fool. Here's the Magician, which is a little bit different, right? I feel like it's not straight. Let me try to straighten this out. There we go. So, because the card's like angle looked cocked. I do like a good crone magician. Again, I like the traditional male and females, but if you go through the Rider-Waite-Smith, there's actually far more men in the Rider-Waite-Smith than there are females. So giving up some of those over to females maybe in the end cause it to be more balanced. I have no clue. We'll take a look at that. But I am a fan. Tarot of the Hidden Realms has a powerful female crone energy to the magician that I love. So I do quite enjoy crone energy. And you can see that as above, so below is written on the table itself. Good night to people who are leaving. Here's the High Priestess. I mean, she looks gorgeous. She's like bathed in the green light of the forest because we're in the dark woods. And so her watery realms are the realms of the green of the forest. I do love that. The little thing on the deck has these little things right here for the book. And it says, the High Priestess is the archetype of the authentic self. And it says, you are the divine whisper of the universe. So I do think that's quite beautiful. Here we have the Empress. She is pregnant. Some people do not really love pregnant empresses. I don't mind them. I think that they, have that idea of creativity. Of course, there's other ways to create than just to give birth, but I don't mind it. It is fairly traditional, and it doesn't bother me. But that's because I am a mother, and so I can, connect with that energy, and it makes sense to me. But I know some people, that's not their favorite. I do love the bats here. Here we have the Emperor. Emperor is really not typical. Normally we have a ram's horn on it, on like the, can't talk to the throne. I can't talk today. Again, horrible face issues going on with my sinuses. I apologize. The Emperor is the archetype of the father. Define the boundaries of your life to create a kingdom. Love it. Love this Hierophant. You do have the nod, right? You have the benediction. You have the crossed keys here. Again, a lot of animals. We've got turtles here. We've got snakes here. I think we continue to have spider webs everywhere. I do really like this as a... what's that symbol called again in the rock on the bottom? Oh, are you talking about the ram rock, the emperors? Oh, that's the Ankh. That's the Ankh of life. That's a Egyptian cross of life. That's not the right way to say it, cross of life, but I believe that's an Ankh, A-N-K-H, I believe is how you would spell that. But anyways, I really like having a dryad tree as the Hierophant. That works for me. Here we have Sexy Time with the Lover's card. And goes so far as to give us the position, I believe, of the, yes, sensual lotus blossom position. and what that means and what that has to do with anything. Talks about the dark angel behind it, talks about the male focusing on the female, sending energy in. She's accepting the energy. So it's all kind of going into, what's that called with, there's a name for that. I'm totally, but talking about that sort of sex magic and that idea of the exchange of energy and things like that are going on. So, yep, definitely. We see this in a lot of decks. I think about the Druidcraft Tarot has definitely some sexy time going on. I think they're kind of worn out from their sexy time. But the idea of energy coming together, masculine, feminine energy that's coming together. Tantric. Thank you, Claire. Thank you. Yeah, I don't think he looks like a porn star. I think he fits. He works. So yep, if you don't want sex positions in your tarot cards, this may not be the ones for you. I don't think it's particularly bad. And I don't mean that sex positions are bad, because I don't. The sex is healthy, natural, wonderful. But we don't really want, unless you're purchasing a deck that is, has a lot of very detailed sexuality and sensuality, you probably don't always want that to be there. So I feel like this has it without being overly detail oriented. So I don't mind it. It's a French, think French fairy tale. There's going to be sex here, folks. I think it's well done. Excuse me. Love the Chariot. My birth card is a Chariot, and I very rarely like chariots. I really am not usually a fan of Chariot cards. They often look very clunky. The original Rider-Waite-Smith just looks like it couldn't even move if they tried to pull it. I think this is a fantastic Chariot, and I love it. This says that the Chariot is the archetype of the hero or the heroine, and to spread your wings and take flight. Here we have the Strength card, which is a snake charmer. So instead of the traditional woman with the lion, and sometimes the woman with the bear, which I do quite love, we have a woman in a snake, which works quite well in a fairy tale dark wood, I think. Strength is the archetype of the warrior, and warriors don't always look like knights with giant swords. So yes, here we have the Strength card. Universal power lies within you. So the Hermit, of course, is what we see on the box front, which is beautiful. Of course, has that feeling of Little Red Riding Hood. It has that, this is the Shadow Witch, and she's going into the dark wood with her lantern. I would suppose that's who this is, but I could be wrong. The Shadow Witch moves onward and sees a light shining in the darkness through the trees. The Hermit holds a lantern at the mouth of a cave. The cave walls contain scribblings and signs and symbols. Oh yeah, you can definitely see those. I don't know if you can see that. There are like magic symbols and signs scratched into the walls of the cave. So again, I do like that the Hermit's Cave, like a dark forest or the underworld, reflects hidden knowledge and a journey. Her cloak and hood express protection. The glowing lamp is a beacon for others to follow. Esoteric markings inside the cave reflects the active work of the hermit. She is not passive in her exploration of her inner and outer landscapes, but alive, observant, and completely aware. So yes, that's what we have there. I do kind of like this. This is probably so far the cutesiest of the cards. Again, this is illustrative art. It's kind of comic book art. It reminds me of the dragons in Quest for Camelot. Have you watched Quest for Camelot? Oh, I love Quest for Camelot. It's a musical cartoon, but I love it. And this just kind of reminds me of that. We have the little demons here of the different color tones. We have one that's coming down or going upward while the snake is coming down. Let's see what they call them. The Shadow Witch, blah, 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 blah. Equilibrium. The snake plummets down while the fairy rises. They're little earth fairies. Four corner fairies foreshadow the world to come, and their books hold the secrets of the elementals. So we have the four elementals there. We have air, we have fire, we have earth. I don't see water. Maybe that's supposed to be water and air and earth. I'm not sure. But they're elemental energies there. They're cute. I don't often love cherry or wheel cards either, and I do like that. Justice is interesting because it seems like a blending of the traditional Hierophant with the supplicants, who are also blindfolded with the Justice card, which I quite love. I like the kind of magic around one of the scales that we see here. I love the sword. The sword looks really awesome. Justice is the archetype of the law. What you do to others, you do to yourself. The two kneeling maidens are blindfolded. They can remove their blindfoldeds once they claim their role and responsibility for the actions, thoughts, and choices that brought them to justice. Is just to justice's feet. I like that. Like her, but you can see it's almost entirely females. Other than I think so far the male in the Lover's card has been all females. So, whether that's going to make it or break it for you is something you'll have to decide, obviously. The Hanged Man, I again, if you're going to have a woman in there, I don't know why you wouldn't just change the name of it, but they seem to be keeping the traditional title, so that could be why. But she is a vampire, which I quite love. We've got the bat again. We've got the little spider here, and she is a vampire. Vampires and mystics each possess supernatural abilities such as levitating, mind reading, longevity, and immortality. The mystic does not swap day for night, good for bad, or right for wrong, like the myth of the vampire, but instead accepts the wholeness and interconnectedness of all things. So I do quite like that because you got a bat-like feel there, which is kind of cool. She kind of looks like the traditional brides of Dracula kind of feel. Like, have you watched the movie Van Helsing with Kate Beckinsale in it? So she kind of reminds me of those sorts of brides of Dracula, and she's going to kind of swoop down and then turn into that more creepy, demonic looking vampires there. So yeah, again, this is, I do love the energy here. It's probably not going to be a deck that I will use with other people, but just for myself. But as for my collection, I knew what I was getting, and I am enjoying it. Death is the archetype of death. Surprise, surprise. Let death teach you how to live. It's got a bit of a creepy bone structure to the skeleton of death here. I do like the hourglass that's showing here, as well as the big scythe that is typically there. We have an angel here that is fallen, or a weeping angel, and the child who is looking death straight in the face, which is pretty cool. But definitely a small little skull there. Let's see. But I don't think it's Scully from it doesn't want to. No, it's an actual skull. So there we have that, but not like creepy or anything. I'm sorry, my sinuses. Allergies. This makes me think of Maleficent. I love the Disney's. Have you guys watched the Disney's Maleficent with Angelina Jolie? Now, the first one was much better, I think, than the second one. I just recently watched the second one, and I was a little disappointed with the second one. It was a little more cutesy and a little bit less dark, but I loved the first one. I still enjoyed the second one, but not anywhere near as much as I enjoyed the first one. But that's what this makes me think of, is as Maleficent. Temperance is the archetype of complexity. Transcend duality to embrace entirety. Definitely sexy lady time. The shadow witch leaves death behind while understanding all her lessons. She moves out to a great plain and walks towards an endless horizon for what feels like hours. Her animal companions are true and stay by her side. Her throat becomes dry and she stops at a glistening pool to take a drink with her hands. A dark angel with a horned headdress rises from the depths of the water, connecting to emotions, the subconscious, and eternal flow. So again, I do like that we're really seeing that the major arcana, again, all of the cards in tarot, but the major arcana cards don't exist in a vacuum. They're connected to each other. It is this path that we're going on. And because of the way the book is written, we definitely get that. So I think that that would actually be great for people who are new to tarot. So would I say that this is a great beginner's deck? I don't know. If you love it, you love it. It's, it's too many females for me in the majors, but it's still, in terms of the guidebook, I feel like you're getting this story that's going through there. I quite enjoy that with the guidebook. Here we have the devil. I love the little page here. I'm wondering if this is one of the pages because they all, let's see what it says. Labyrinth patterns, talking about labyrinths and ego. The devil is called the dweller on the threshold. That's pretty cool. But there is a sense of, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to take my power back to this little guy here that I quite like. So there we have that. Cool tower. I mean, it looks like a Gothic tower that is being struck by lightning and the bats are all flying out and somebody's definitely, here we can look at the bigger one. Who's falling out of that? Can we see? It's a woman for sure. Yeah, it's a woman for sure. Tower requires adjustments. A figure falling from the window. A storm shakes the sky. Bats stream from the tower. The devil has been greeted, defeated, and integrated. All false, inauthentic things you have created disappear and fall into ruin. Yeah, I'm enjoying it. I had seen this one. Here's the star card. I do love this. It's a typical star card that you see. I do love that the bats are there. I do like the Victorian kind of water thing that's next to her and that she's sitting on a tree. I enjoy it. It is sweet. And I do love the tones. I agree with Brienne. The colors are really gorgeous. It's nighttime and muted, but still really glowing. The artist is fantastic. Again, if you like this graphic novel illustrated art style, she's really good at what she does. It's quite beautiful. This one is this is the kind of pose that I just do not love in tarot decks, when it's just this overly dramatic. I understand that we're going for sexy and sensual, but there's absolutely no way, obviously, that somebody can be standing like this without falling and splashing into the water. But she's probably mystically rising up from the waters because this is the dark wood. But again, I knew that I was getting into that, and so I can roll with it. The moon is the archetype of mystery. Portents are seen in the mind's eye and felt in the body. The shadow witch feels a stirring deep within her. A body rises from the waters. So, okay, they address it. Rises from the waters as if the moon were a magnet, birthing a fully formed woman from the murky depths. But she is rising up. She's being drawn by a magnet from the moon up and out of the water. I mean, come on. What's not to love about that? Sexy woman being drawn up like a magnet from the moon. We can't complain. Here we have the sun. So, I'll take this one, actually. I am not a fan of six-pack naked babies on the sun card. They drive me insane. I would much prefer a beautiful fully formed, fully grown-up woman on the back of a horse, because I learned tarot from the Llewellyn Tarot, which was Lou on the back of a horse, which is a strong male figure. This reminds me of the story of, oh, I'm going to say her name wrong. Who's the lady that rode to the town? She was forced to ride to the town naked, with only her hair to cover her, to try to shame her, but she ends up being a powerful, it's a powerful image of not allowing somebody to shame you. I can't remember her name. It's Godiva. It's Godiva, but there's somebody else. There's another story similar, I think, with another name, but I could be wrong. Anyways. The figure is naked. You have nothing to fear, nothing to hide. You are free of attachment. She rides a horse, a symbol of power, mastery, and cooperation. So, yeah, there we go. I'll take it over six-pack babies. Here we have Judgment with another vampire here. The Shadow Witch offers her neck willingly to the vampire. She is about to become an eternal child of the night. Of course she is. Of course she is. Maybe we can see them up closer. So this isn't the vampire that was the Hanged Man, because she's got different color hair. But she's about to become a vampire. Neck bites are erotic symbols marking metamorphosis. The death card taught us that all life is temporal. Change is a natural state. This is what the Shadow Witch came for. Our instincts will lead us to what we require. We learn who we are and we surprise ourselves. Corpse hands rise from the graves. Reach up from the graves to express a wake-up call on every level of existence. What is true for you is true for the world. You change, the world changes. As above, so below. The transformation of the soul is complete by turning into a vampire. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And then, of course, we end it with the world card, in which she has become complete. And if you look, okay, I'm trying to juggle things here. If you look, this is where she started. Oops, sorry. Here, let me get my face out of the way. If you look, this is where we started with her cat and her fox and the spider and the lizard. So now she's come full circle. We have the cat, we have the fox, we have the the spider, and we have the lizard, and she's holding two wands, almost like she's broke her staff in half, and now she is double power magician, I guess there. But she has now started here all raggedy and kind of learning with her past lives in her back, and she's made this whole transformation, and now she's obviously rising up fully vampired, I guess. Let's see. She is infused with supernatural force. She integrates the lessons and experiences of each card. She is all things, light and dark, high and low, masculine and feminine, and all gray areas in between. Duality vanishes. She is the tantric entirety of infinite possibilities, is what it says. So, yeah, her hair is just all, woo. Oops, let's do that and move it back to the middle. So she is full of, she doesn't, I think something's froze here. Let's see. I think my phone is starting to act up. Oh, we made it to the majors. Now it's all probably going to act up. Okay, well, we can go quicker with the minors here. So I wonder, let's see what happens when she goes into the aces. Or I'm sorry, when she goes into the suits. So the story ends there. Okay, so it looks like now we're not going through an entire story. Now we're going into different symbols and things like that. Let's see, are we frozen? I don't think so. I think we'll try to persevere. Whoops, sorry, people. Okay, so let's just kind of go through here. We have the Ace of Wands as ignition, or because I can't talk, ignition. Thank you, Claire. Um, okay, let's see if I can talk. We have the Ace of Wands, again, kind of creepy nails there. She ignites the world of wands. I do like this witch. She looks awesome. The Two of Wands is the Witch of Wands, stands between two wands symbolized by torches. Two is the number of reflection and division. The torches are oppositional forces, masculine and feminine, hot and cold. Again, I feel like this is um, a great guidebook. I feel like she's done a good job in going through things. She talks about holding a crystal ball. Oz's Wicked Witch used a gazing ball to spy on Dorothy. So you have some references to different Wicked Witches that we might have seen. I do like her little cocky, sexy witch there. Again, I knew there'd be a lot of sexy ladies in this particular deck. Obviously, the Three of Wands is a vampire, and vampires embrace. The vampire is a symbol of erotic power and eternal life. She is a shapeshifter, taking on any form she likes to seduce her prey. Here we have the Four of Wands with the troll under the bridge. Hello, hello. Who's under the bridge? You better cross quickly. Our four little cute little imps, I would say she called them elemental fairies, but they look a little more like imps to me. With the mushrooms are quite combative there. I think they're adorable. This is a really interesting Six of Wands. We have obviously sort of a fae walk through almost like the it's a parade of ghosts, but she's holding, I don't know if you can see, let me get the bigger image. If you can see, she is, I know it's glaring, she's holding a living child in her hands. So interesting, right? So we have obviously a parade. Something is going on outside in Bells. I think somebody's fighting out back. Lovely. And Belle's not happy about it. Sorry if you can hear that. I do like this. Parade of ghosts. A parade meanders through the wood. A woman holds a child in her arms. Ladies in waiting accompany her, their torches lighting the way. Very interesting. It's just a different take on it. I quite like it. Here we have the Seven of Wands, confront the shadow. Look at that creepy shadow through there. And she's having to stand in the face of the shadow with her torch, which I quite love. I hope there's not somebody doing a protest in my backyard. That would be strange. Here we have the Eight of Wands. Is very interesting. I mean, her heart is so beautiful. This is the book. I love that we have the big image in the guidebook, but I mean, she really does that illustrative art quite beautifully, which is what drew me to the deck in the first place. Here we have a mermaid, obviously, and she's kind of got creepily tattered, it looks like that's how it's supposed to be, but this is more the siren that's going to kind of tempt men to their doom, right? Mermaids and sirens are slippery sexual creatures who reflect unconscious depths. They carry the potency and power of water and are vast and powerful, inhabiting seas and rivers and harbors. Mermaids reflect the female embodiment of attraction and danger, luring males to their deaths. The mermaid represents the human capacity for longing. It's interesting for the Eight of Wands, though. So let's see how she's pulling that together. The Eight of Wands is the space between wish and culmination. It is the call and response of the universe. Prayers are sent, forces are set in motion. It is impossible to see where their intentions will land. It's too late to alter their course. You've done all you can for the moment. Sit with patience and wait for the situation to develop. That's a very different discussion about the Eight of Wands, which I do see the Eight of Wands. There's a sense of solidity. There's not movement. Many Rider-Waite-Smith have like wands shooting across on the 8 of Wands, which has always been interesting to me because I came more from numerology, and 8's such a stable, almost fixed number. And so then to have that is always, I always have to think about planting your feet so that you can grab on. And so there's a bit of a stagnant energy to this, which fits the 8, I think, better than what we often see. So it's interesting that they went something different. Look, ooh, I don't know about this one, folks. Look at this one. Let's see his face up close. No, people, if you don't like clowns, look at that creepy, creepy clown. Clown crossing. The clown is a trickster archetype operating outside of society. The fence reflects a barrier that has been transcended. It is stepping out into the darkness and pushing forward into unknown territory. 9 is the number of wish fulfillment. You are getting what you came for, but is it all that you wished? Ooh, creepy, creepy. But this isn't even, this is the 9 of Wands, not the 9 of Swords. 10 of Wands, demonic fire. I mean, again, sexy lady demon, sexy lady vampire, sexy lady everybody. But, you know, do we really have anything opposed to sexy ladies? I don't know. We don't know. The jury's still out on that. 10 of Wands there. She's holding her burden quite well. I think I'm freezing up here. I'm going to pause for a minute. So now we come to the pages. I love the pages in this deck. I'm going to pause for a minute and try to let things catch up. The pages are all young girls in this deck, and I quite love them. I'm going to just pause talking for a minute because I think things are a little bit froze up here. But I love the Page of Wands. She does have red eyes, though. I don't know if you can. Oops, sorry. Okay. I think we're pretty froze. Okay, let me try to take my face off for a minute. I'm going to take her up all the way. Let's see if it resorts itself out, because we're definitely sticking. This is why, you know, I enjoy, so I personally enjoy doing these live walkthroughs because it's just fun to chit chat with people about what we see in the cards. But it does have these types of technical difficulties where I'm gonna pull it from the stream for a minute. I don't mind sexy ladies. No, nobody should really. But I would like to see some other sexy people as well. If we're going to just have sexy people in here, that's fine. But I'd like to see a few more sexy men added in for the, you know, shake things up a little bit. Okay, let me try it again and see if we get movement. Okay, it looks like maybe. Let's. I don't know. I guess as long as people are hanging out, we'll keep at it. Now he looks pretty awesome. Yeah, this is definitely, I would not say this is a gender balanced deck, but the truth of the matter is Rider-Waite-Smith is not a gender balanced deck. So I think they just flipped the gender balance here. He looks pretty awesome. I love his horse here. Again, love it. It just reminds me of Quest for Camelot artwork, which I quite like. Ooh, look at the Queen of Wands. She's looking intense. I love, it's almost, her wand is on fire and almost looks like a matchstick there. I like what the artist does with hair. She looks pretty awesome. She's very intense. So I like that. Ooh, he looks awesome. He almost has a bit of a Rasputin-y feel to him, like a magician, fiery, young Rasputin kind of feel, doesn't he? Kind of has that kind of feel to that. I quite like the look of him. Very cool. I like those court cards. Okay, so now we are coming to the cups. Love any kind that there is a raven in there. I love it. Ooh, I wonder if these are, let's go here, explosion. Yeah, I really like, I love having the big, having these big images in the guidebook is fantastic. Yeah, I wish there were more of them because she does them really well. Ace of Cups flow, Two of Cups. I wonder if these are the horses that come out of the water. My brain is on allergy medicine. It's not mentioning it. It looks like they're just horses. Not that I have anything against horses. I love horses, but I thought maybe they were the watery horses that come out and drag people to their doom under the water. Three of Cups. We have the cats here. 3 black cats, which I quite love. Oh, look at the 4 of Cups. We have him bringing, of course, we're going to be a little sad for the bunny there. But you look at the fox looks a little bit sad like you see often in the 4 of Cups. But, cheer up. Look behind you. Somebody's bringing you a rabbit to eat. That's pretty good. That's pretty sweet of him. 5 of Cups with a sad bunny because, oh, yep, you see the story progression there. I know the cards are obviously Llewellyn laminated cards. So obviously this fox has gone off to bring a treat to his mate who is a little bit sad. But of course, that just leaves the other rabbit a little bit sad because, they've lost their mate. But foxes eat rabbits. I mean, that is what happens in the wood folk. All of the animals are not dancing together and singing Disney songs. They do eat each other, just to be clear. Here we have the 6 of Cups is actually quite beautiful. We have a raven feeding the baby. We have cups all up in here full of lilies. That's quite lovely. I love that. Here we have the 7 of Cups with the 7 cups here. I love the bats that are here. Kind of typical, although usually that they're looking at the cups, not looking up at the bats. But, all right, let's see. Oh, I should have been flipping through the book. These cats are the Weird Sisters. The feline energy is like Macbeth's 3 witches, the sacred trinity, the sacred power of gathered souls who share the desire to create a new ecstatic reality. So definitely want to take a peek at the guidebook because there's lots of little tidbits. I love the read the 6 of Cups and what it says. Okay, let's see. Mother Crow is a 6 of Cups. Yes, please. I love Mother Crow for the 6 of Cups. An ancient Indian myth describes the crow that was so obsessed with its own shadow, it pecked and scratched until the shadow came alive. The crow's shadow proceeded to eat the crow. Gaze into the supernatural by looking into the eye of a crow. What requires vision? What seeks to be understood? What wants your attention? A woody nest supports a baby crow who lifts its head to accept the worm from its mother. 6 cups balance in the branches of the tree, reflecting the calm emotional balance of the situation. White moonflowers spring from the cups, representing manifestation in the material world. Emotional growth and nurturing abound. Simple, nurturing gestures of love and caring return in karmic dividends. Is what the main part Ginger says about the crows. I think it's quite beautiful, and I enjoy it. 7 of Cups. Here we have the 8 of Cups. What's going off on a journey is a snake, which I am a fan of, snakes. I love the imagery here. I love the almost Sleepy Hollow feel of the branches cutting in the moonlight. I love the Crow Tarot. It's one of my favorite decks, period. It's probably one of my most used decks for myself, and certainly for all of my more animistic style readings, or my ancestor readings, sometimes my web reading. Anytime I'm using it with what I would consider all my earthy animistic style decks, I'm using the Crow Tarot as the tarot with all of those different oracles. So I do love the Crow Tarot, but I'm also a big fan of ravens and crows. So anyways, this is a beautiful Eight of Cups. Nine of Cups, wish fulfillment. I mean, again, the poor bird is not too happy, but the cat certainly is. And I know we're getting blurry again. I just want to kind of finish and get through looking at them all together with you guys. I know it's frustrating. I probably need to put a note in the note section that, there may be some technical blurriness. If that's going to drive you nuts, probably don't watch this. And goodbye, Jujubee. But anyways, cats do eat birds. And so the bird did get what he was wanting. Now, come on. Oh, she just like made this for me. Okay, I wonder if we should, what should we do here? Let's try to take it out again. I'm going to remove it from the stream because that helped the last time. And just have a minute saying, wow, she made this just for me. The 10 of Cups, I love. Look, it's happily ever after with a little wolf family. I mean, we're tired in happily ever after cards and tarot of seeing, the man and the woman and the children. I would much rather see some wolves, for sure. Okay, let's try to put it back in. We'll see if that works. Yeah, there is that, and there should be in the dark wood. So if you love sexy ladies, and if you love animals, and if you like vampires and imps and trolls under the bridges, like I do, you might enjoy this one. And again, the pages, I want to pull the pages out. I just love the little girl pages. I just think that there's just something about I think, obviously it's the illustrative style of the creator, of the artist, but I just love the little girl pages. I really like, I like court systems that puts a female into the pages so that there's either a princess or whatever it's going to be, because then it has that balance in the courts of the genders. So I do quite like that. I am a person who works with binaries. I do enjoy the archetypalness of it. And so I do like to see that. And these just are something so sweet about these two. Yeah, I don't know yet. I haven't. This is just an unboxing. I've been waiting for this deck, but I have not used this deck at all. Here we have the charmer of the Knight of Cups, who's got a picnic all set up so that he can. It's definitely the Sir Galahad. It's the Knights of the Round Table. It's a lot. There's definitely the more of the charming, loving young man who's here to take us on a picnic in the woods, right? I think she's beautiful. I love the courts so far. I mean, I think the courts are really gorgeous. And then we have the King of Cups. He looks awesome. I love this sort of woman coming up out of the water, but she does a great job with faces. She does a really good job with faces. I wish there were more men in the majors, for sure. Yeah, she's a great artist. She definitely is a great artist. I quite love it. And again, I really like the big artwork in the guidebook here. Okay, so here's my suit, folks. This is a suit of swords, right? These are my, the artist is amazing. I'm really loving it. It seems more like, yeah, it's definitely sexy, not porn sexy. The moon's a little porn sexy, but look, it's a woman being pulled and birthed from the waters by the moon. She's, of course, going to be floating. What can we say? So yeah, no, I mean, sometimes you just get to appreciate it, right? Just go along for the ride. And if you know what you're getting, then it's not so disappointing because you know that that's what you're getting and you're just there to just enjoy it for what it is. Not all decks have to be the same way. They can, we can play, we can have play with our magic. That's what the Embrace the Magical in October is all about, that we can have fun and enjoy and play with the imagery that we have. We have lots of room for serious alchemical, esoteric decks, and we can also have some fun with it as well. And this definitely is walking that line there, which is a lot of fun. Love this Ace of Swords. Love this Two of Swords. We'll start singing the swords. Shall we sing all of the swords? Ace of Swords, the origin story. Two of Swords. A madness takes shape as a woman sits near a reflecting pond. She holds two identical swords and wears a blindfold. Tree branches roaming like hungry fingers reach towards her. Shadow monsters approach from all sides. Two shadows form the devils of self-criticism. One shadow forms of a man who fears what other thinks. The fourth shadow is the cat that fears its own instincts. Oh, that's really interesting. Look. Okay, so we have these shadows here of a cat who's fearing their own instinct. We have a man who's afraid, what did she say, of what other people think about him. We have the two devils of self-criticism on either side. And all of these things are things that could stop you from going forward, like the Two of Swords, which is really cool. And I do, but look at the mirror image. Actually, both of them are sitting there quite calmly. I really like this Two of Swords. We've got to bring our head and our heart together and push aside the shadows so that you can move forward. And the mask almost becomes like the Justice. The mask becomes what allows that sense of clarity, because she doesn't need to see outward and be distracted by the shadows. She needs to see inward so that she can go outward. Oh yeah, loving that Two of Swords. It's a love song to me, and I have a Two of Swords tattoo because it's my card, and that does my card quite justice, doesn't it? Heart opener for the Three of Swords, the spider, the hairy spider. A spider web holds a human heart. The web is spun within the roots of a massive overturned tree. 3 different swords pierce the heart with razor-sharp precision. A furry tarantula sits to the side, observing the heart. Will the heart be devoured? Have you ever observed the nature of your own heart? The 3 swords, emblematic of the mind, reflect logical. Oh, I like this. Okay, so it is the typical image that we see with the Three of Swords. You know that I don't see the Three of Swords as lost. That's the Five of Cups. But I have to work with the imagery of the Rider-Waite-Smith in most decks. But I like what she's saying here, because she's reminding us that the swords are about the mind. The 3 swords, emblematic of the mind, reflect logical, creative ideas in conflict with the sensitivity of the heart. A heart is a soft and spongy, red and veiny. The veins branch off like tiny tree roots. It is the true nature of love, growing, sprouting, and evolving. So I like that. It is understanding that the number 3 is about growth, and it's incorporating. I like what the writer has done here. I really like that. Disconnect or schism between the heart and the head. So it talks about the grief that we see in normally, but that's really well done. That suits the way that I see the Three of Swords quite well. Okay, she's hitting a home run on the sword suit. Okay, we're freezing up here again. Happily never after. Okay, I like this. Okay, we're gonna try. I know, trust me, folks. I know that this is not ideal, and we're definitely having internet issues here on my side of the woods. but I'm having too much fun to stop. So I'm going to keep going here. 4 is the number of stability. Yes, it is. Thank you for now acknowledging that. Swords are the suit of the mind. Yes, it is. Thank you for acknowledging that. It is a calmness and quiet that we enjoy when mentally balanced. Yet even the surface water is bound to be touched by wind sooner or later. A woman sleeps, or does she? A man approaches her bedside wearing dastardly gloves. Oh, his gloves are dastardly. It's totally froze now. Okay. I'm having too much fun. This is what's happening. I'm having too much fun. And so now it's like confusing. My energies are interrupting my phone energies. Okay, let's look. I'm going to let it set for a minute while we take a look. Look what's going on here. We have 3 swords that are hanging over his head. We have a man who is up to no good. He is not going to, I don't think, give her a kiss to wake up Sleeping Beauty, because he has apparently dastardly gloves on. I know, I do like her word choices. Let's see what else he says. Her meaning of this card is a need for new stories, narratives, and unique ideas, balanced and logical thoughts, rest with a plan for action. Just when I do like how she's interpreting these cards. Okay, let's see. A woman sleeps, or does she? A man approaches her bedside wearing dastardly gloves. 3 swords hang precariously above his body. The woman holds tight to the 4th sword. What happens when the story you cherished, loved, and believed doesn't work anymore? How do you adapt when stability is threatened? Can you accept truth when it stares you in the face? Old stories are dying. The new narratives must unravel. So she's not Sleeping Beauty. He's waiting for the prince to come and kiss her awake. The prince is up to no good, thinking he can take advantage of a sleeping woman, and she is going to rise forth from the bed and stab him, or cut the string at the side of the bed, and those knives are going to come down, because no, she's not sitting there mildly passive and waiting for something to happen to her. She is taking control. I do. I know. I love it. Okay. I'm going to try to fix this now while I'm done with that. She's saving her own self. She is not. Okay. I'm going to stop this for a minute. I'm going to now turn on Wi-Fi. We're going to try. We're going to finish this come hell or high water. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing here. Now, let me put this on, because last time, of course. Yeah, that's what we were talking about, Soren, was the fact that these French fairy tales that Disney pulls things from were not made for children. They were sexy adult stories. And, okay, so we're going to try. If you have headphones in, take them out in case this goes crazy. Like it did the last time. I'm giving you fair warning. I'm determined to get through this deck, folks. I know this is frustrating. Again, if this type of stuff really annoys you, you're not going to hurt my feelings to leave, because I would probably be the same. So you're not going to hurt my feelings if you say, oh, I can't handle this anymore. I'm just having too much fun. So we're gonna keep trying. I think I stopped it from happening, but I got to come in first. Enter the broadcast. Okay. All right, I'm going to try to get it adjusted before I bring it in. Okay, I'll take that out. I don't think it's going to blare. So far, so good. Add to stream. Okay. I mean, we're so close. Let's see if we can keep going. Anyways, look at his face. He is definitely up to no. It's a little bit blurry. Oh, there we go. He's definitely up to no good. And look at her with that sword. She is definitely laid a trap for this sneaky, dastardly gloved man, and she's going to take care of that problem. I just love it. Okay. Ooh, this is a harsh one. Look at the Five of Swords. At what cost? At what cost? Very different energy between these two ladies and those two ladies. Okay, let me get my place back in the book because I'm quite enjoying her. Eight of Swords. What are we? Oh, I love the Eight of Swords. We're not there yet. I'm peeking. I'm peeking ahead. Let's see, Five of Swords. Cruelty, which is, we see with the five, this disruption when we're using our mind to hurt other people, and we're winning, but what cost are we winning? This reminds me of the scene in Discovery of Witches, not the TV show. I know people love the TV version of Discovery of Witches. I do not. I feel like there's zero chemistry between the two main people. But the book itself, when she's down and she's being tortured and she's down in the sort of in the cavern of the old ruins of the castle. It was a really rough scene, and I feel like this kind of reminds me of that. The Suit of Swords can be the scariest, darkest quality. The woman stands with her sword. Deliberate, cruel, and destructive behavior. Hating on others, tearing people down, inflicting revenge and jealous rage, destroy you as much as they hurt the other, is what she talks about. So yeah, I think that's quite powerful. This is interesting. The journey. A woman stands on a flat-bottomed boat using a stick to navigate beneath a bow of Spanish moss. Swords are scattered, and a swaddled baby lies at her feet as curious alligators approach. A young woman reaches towards the boat from the shore. So it's a passage and a journey. And it ties the waters here to the high priestess. This number 6 reflects the heart center. I really like her numbers. The way that she is doing the numbers and how she's describing numbers, I quite like. I'm really liking the writer here. Is this a scene of rescue or theft? Is the woman in the boat reclaiming what was hers to begin with, or is she stealing another woman's child? Have the figures been manipulated into their actions from a menacing power we cannot see? It is a moment of transition, and a journey lies ahead. Will you enter the boat or remain on shore? So I like that she's the questions that she's bringing up with these. I love this. Look at Little Red Riding Hood. She is, again, not going to be eaten by the wolf. No, remember, I believe in the real story of Little Red Riding Hood, at least a version of it. She cuts the wolf open and gets grandmother out of the stomach of the wolf. But look at her face. Like, she definitely looks like, look, I'm not scared. You think I'm scared? You, Mr. Creeping Wolf behind there thinking you're going to have me for dinner? I'm not afraid of you. I got all these swords here, and I'm about ready to chop you down there for sure. Look at this. Beautiful. I love Eight of Swords cards. I know, because the Eight of Swords depicts when our mind is our worst enemy. We are entrapped by our own head. This is the entire definition of me, a Libra with all the other things in there. There is definitely, my head is my biggest ally, and it is my worst enemy. So I really can understand the Eight of Swords. So I love them, but this is just beautiful. Just artistically, I love the rats here. I love the vulture here. We've got some other littler birds over here. I don't know. I'm going to read it in a second, but just artistically, again, I like the artist's illustration style. I think it's really beautiful. I love the flowy white nightgown off the shoulder with the ties down the middle. It's just pretty. And she does a beautiful job with beautiful hair. Ooh, listen to this. I know we're reading a lot, but it's a story. It's based on stories, so we need to read a lot. A woman's body is bound and blindfolded. A noose attached to a tree branch above her falls loosely around her neck. A circle of 8 swords stuck into the ground forms a circle around her. She stands on the top of a box while rats gnaw at the wood beneath. No, they are not. These are not Snow White's mice that are going to come dress her. These are rats that are chewing the wood. And if they chew the wood away, she's going to drop and hang herself. So no, the rats are not being helpful. A vulture sensing death waits patiently. This card speaks to witch hunts, executions, and the demonization of the female. We often punish ourselves before others can. Her ropes and noose are loose. She could wiggle herself free if she wanted. Her hands are loosely tied, if at all. The swords are within reaching distance. How did she arrive at this precarious position, and what will she do next? So the idea is that, you know, you can have that sense of persecution, but often we step into that and we own what people are putting on us. I was raised in very fundamental Christianity, very on the far edges of Christianity, in which women were still, as in the olden times, women were seen as lesser, and that people in general were seen as lesser. And you can fall into the trap of believing that. What people talk all the time about how I apologize all the time. I apologize for my very existence. Those messages can become so ingrained that you stand there bound by them, even though you could step off and walk away. So that's really powerful, very powerful depiction of the fact that, yes, other people do, you know, persecute us, and other people do put these things on us. But when we own that and take that as our own truth, that's the real sadness there. You know, that's the real, that is so sad when you think about how we can take on and turn that into our own truth, which is what we shouldn't be doing. Yeah, I get this. I'm getting this MO of the deck as well. It's definitely female oriented. I don't think there's any way to get around it. It is the story of this shadow witch, right? So it is most definitely the story of women. And it most definitely has that sense of taking back power for that. And so is it going to be a deck for everybody? Possibly not. But I think that it has something to say, and it has a voice. And so some people will get some use out of that. So yeah, very strong. It's got a very strong energy of that to it. 9 of Swords, kind of a typical 9 of Swords. After all the other ones, it's a little bit of a letdown because it's really been such neat twists on it. But I do love the different shaped swords. You know, it's nice. It's a great card. It's well drawn, but it doesn't like power hit you like some of the other ones have. Okay, let's take a look at the 10 of Swords, the death of ego. The woman's body drapes across razor sharp rocks. And of course, she drapes beautifully. I wish I could drape like that. Like if I was going to drape over razor sharp rocks, I would want to drape like that. Her right hand reaches out. Her left hand grasps a sword in the hand, yet no blood spills down her arm. She has finished the story on her own terms. The ego is destroyed. The dark night of the soul has ended, and a new day begins. The 10 of Swords appears when a situation has reached its conclusion. A lesson has been learned. A thought pattern is eradicated. The thought pattern that was leaving her bound and giving her nightmares has been eradicated. The sense of self that was once defined by the mind no longer exists. It is the death card and the cessation of thoughts, ideas, and opinions that no longer serve you. Sun rises in the distance to signify a new day. A spider rests on the jagged rock as a reminder that even the quiet mind will wake up again and spin a new story. I love the spiders in this deck, for sure. This card is a reminder to make your new thoughts count. Release and expel what is dead and gone while creating space for expansion and vastness of the mind. I really, really like this, the creator of this deck. Her writing style is beautiful. It is a traditional Rider-Waite-Smith image, but way that she writes about it is really fantastic and very much in alignment of how I can see the 10 of Swords. So I really do. Yeah, it talks about Kundalini in a couple places, Shay. It starts out that way and talks a lot about it in the Strength card. So you're definitely seeing some threads of that throughout the story. I definitely agree. I like that she's connecting it to other cards, like we're seeing a reference to the Death card here as well, and that the mountains and the sun coming up again. So she does a really good job. I'm impressed with it. It reminds me of, one of my favorite walkthroughs I've ever done was the oh my gosh, my brain is so fried. Bohemian Gothic. And there's such a joy. There's an inner child moment for me with things like vampires and werewolves and all of these things that we're talking about. It suits me. And so there is an inner child, even though it's a beautiful, powerful deck and it reads beautifully and powerfully, and the light and the shadow in that deck are amazing, but it still sparks joy in me and in its themes and the way that it's got humor. And in the midst of various serious things, you have these glimpses of humor. And this deck reminds me of that. Completely different art style, completely different vibe to it, but it has that same sort of energy of serious, powerful topics, but then having the cheekiness of all the sexy ladies and having it's just cool. It hits my inner child. I have a strange inner child. Look at her. See, I just love the pages. I love the pages in this deck. This is the girl. So this is who we saw. Let's see if I can find it. Oh my goodness. Let's see if I can find it. This is the girl in the devil card. No, yeah, that's the death. Yeah, this is the girl. Look at her little cheeky haircut. So here is the little girl standing up to the devil, and look at, she's got that same little capelet. We're not seeing the back of it, but that's the little girl she's standing up to the devil, and she's owning her own power. I would say almost that this card is sort of descriptive of the whole deck, that you have this, it has got a female energy to it and female empowerment energy to it. Does that mean that a man cannot work with this deck? I don't believe so. We all experience the receptive energy of the feminine. It's part of every one of us, and all of us, including many men, have to reclaim that power as well. So is it, going to be as appealing to all men? Probably not, because there are a lot of women. But could it be? Yeah, because it's that idea of reclaiming the feminine, whether or not that is female gender or not, I think is irregardless. We see archetypes and we allow archetypes, and that shouldn't shut us down from using them. But, that's just me. But anyways, I think that this really does embody the whole vibe of the deck, that there is this little girl and she is saying no. She is really saying no and taking back her power. And that gives me goosebumps because I know that little girl. And so I love it. And it's the Page of Swords, and the swords is my suit. So I quite love it. Ooh, I like him. Oh, yes. I pre-ordered this deck. Oh, yes. And your walkthrough's making me wish I already had this. I hope it comes quickly. Yeah, it does have a Zelda look. Mr. Jonathan, look at him. I love the quartz. This deck's quartz are fantastic. He's awesome. Oh, yes. Hello there, Miss Queen of Swords in the red dress. I quite love her. I think she's awesome, and I love him as equally as much. I love the vulture. I love the vulture in the King of Swords. I love the big sword in the King of Swords, and the big sword in the Queen of Swords. I really like the quartz a lot in this deck. I'm a big fan. Okay, one more suit. I know you guys are all like, holy goodness, holy goodness. Pentacles, pentacle suit. I like the pentacles. They're very traditional, but they have all the creepy nails on them, which is pretty awesome. But look at the door. Oh, here, we're going to get the echo back. We are having so many difficulties, aren't we? Let's see if I can pull it. My father. Yes, yes. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a loud echo. Oh my gosh, Jonathan is so right. My name is, what is his name? It's not Ingo. What is it? It's something else. Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. I love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, we got to get this to go away. I'm sorry, guys. Okay, let me. And there's another syllable in that. Okay, let me try to fix this. Um, we got one more suit to get through. I am too excited, and it's causing technical errors. What am I doing here? I am trying to get my headset. Well, you know what? We've got enough time. Okay, I'm gonna plug the wire because I'll plug the headphone in because I've got enough charge here to finish this. So I'm going to turn that off and I'm going to go back in. How do I get back in here? Sorry, folks. So sorry, folks. Okay. Does it let me come back in? There we go. Okay. And backstage, it says. So now I'm going to plug this in. I know there's still an echo, but I'm going to plug my wired headphones in, which should take care of the echo. Okay. Let's try this again. We are going to get through this come hell or high water, which I think I've already said, but Okay, let's try to pull this back into stream. All righty. You shouldn't be hearing any echo. If you are, let me know. Yeah, if you haven't ordered this, you're probably going. If you're in the U.S., you're probably going to get this faster ordering it from Llewellyn. I ordered mine straight from Llewellyn, and so it's already out and being sent through Llewellyn. Whereas Amazon's didn't show like I think a June 8th date, and I was trying to get it as early as I could because I've been waiting for this deck for a while. So. That is, is there a birthday? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Neighborhood Arts. Happy birthday to you and many, many more. Have a happy birthday. Okay, let's persevere so we can maybe get through this. Okay. Ooh, I like the quartz. I'm sorry. We're going to pause for just a second. If we go back to the quartz, the detective in the little page, the fighter in the knight, the articulator in the Queen of Swords, because she speaks well, the Queen of Swords, and the thinker in the King of Swords. I quite like that. Anyways, okay, so back here, I like the gate in the garden. You got to leave the garden to go into the dark wood. So I quite like that. Oh, look at the Two of Pentacles. Okay, let me go back to the numbers. Let me get myself back. I got sidetracked by the titles there. Oh, look at for this one. Sorry. I really like the guidebook a lot. The World in a Grain of Sand. Oh, yes, that's one of my favorite poems. Okay. So, Ace of Pentacles. Here we have the Two of Swords, or the Two of Pentacles with choice. An ancient anthropomorphized apple tree holds two pentacles. That's a mouthful. The tree looks grumpy, but you can find fun in your situation. Beautiful Three of Pentacles, creativity, the spiral. I love anything with spirals. I love the branching off into three here. It definitely has that sense of growth. That vine is just going out of control and surrounding the castle in the middle of the woods. Oh, look at the Four of Pentacles. We got lots of little tree peoples here. The mandrake contains 4 pentacles. A large pentacle sits at the crown chakra. It holds a single pentacle at the heart chakra, while 2 pentacles are entwined at the creature's feet. I love this because I don't think of the Four of Pentacles as greediness. It's about holding our energy inward. So I like the idea of, or this last sliced apples for sure, making the pentacle. But I like this because it's associating it with the energy points. And so that gives you that reminder that it's about holding your energy within versus putting your energy outward. Spending resources is about holding resources in. So I like that. Oh, look. Look at the Dark Knight and the 5 of Pentacles. I love this. I love this. I love the pentacles in a tree rather than there wouldn't be a church in the middle of the dark wood. Snow fills the dark wood. The landscape is illuminated by the unseen moon. A couple walks together up an embankment, suggesting an uphill struggle. They are sad, their clothing in tatters. They are barefoot and ill-equipped to deal with the snowfall, wind, and brittle cold. Betrayal creeps through the card. It is the classic dark night of the soul, a la Boheme. The 5 pentacles are packed inside the base of a tree, hidden like treasure in plain sight. If the couple could see past their pain, they would look up and discover salvation is at hand. They are too consumed with familiar and comforting pain to discover the pentacles, which are the answer and refuge they seek. The 5 of Pentacles foreshadows the 10 of Pentacles. The tree of life holds entrance to the underworld, but it is blocked. That's really awesome. I don't know if she worked with Disney at all. I know she's a Hugo Award-winning illustrator, and she's really fantastic. I don't know, Shay. I feel like you're going to like this deck. Not that this whole video is about convincing Shay to buy it, but it kind of is. Look at I love this 6 of Pentacles because it's got a goblin market feel, right? So this exchange of energy needs to be one that is balanced. This exchange of energy is about connections that are already there. It's not about having power over another person because of your good deeds. Because sometimes the visuals of the 6 of Pentacles can often look like that it's this rich person who's giving money to the poor person, when in reality, the 6 of Pentacles is about an exchange of energy, and it's about understanding that we're all connected. And so there is a shadowy side, I think, sometimes to the 6 of Pentacles. And so I quite like this kind of goblin market feel to this. And it talks about this, about examining the card as the concept of give and take. How do you give and take energy? Are you exchanging it equally? Is it balanced? That kind. Oh, no. There's my mother. Mother, you are calling and you are interrupting our final few cards. Sorry, Mom, I have to call you back. Okay, I hope it still comes back when I cancel my mother. Oh, no, I'm getting bad karma from canceling my mother. Okay, 1 second. Here we go again. We are not getting through this, are we? We are determined. We are like the girls in this deck, regardless of your gender. There we go. I'm coming back. Okay. We are like the girls. We are determined to make this work. I know. I'm sorry, Mom. I'll call you right back. We're getting close. All right. Here we go. Okay. Well, okay. Not cooperating. Okay. There we go. Anyways, I think this is an interesting take on it. It's called The Devil's Deal. So I quite like that. Of course, ooh, look at, oh, I love that. She's done all the work and now she's just got to wait. She's set up her boundaries. She's set up her protections. She's done what she needs to do and now she can rest while the pumpkins grow. I love it. Seven of Pentacles. Here is the Eight of Pentacles. Everything is coming up and coming into full fruition. It's now she can pick it's a tree dryad, a nature spirit who inhabits a particular tree, places a pentacle on display. These nature spirits take human form according to myth. They live along the life of the tree they call home. Nature spirits are the bridge of communication between humans and the natural world, often acting as intermediaries. Like a pentacle, the tree is a source of wisdom and manifestation. This is why the dryads who inhabit them and live among them consider trees, groves, and forests sacred. So we're seeing, her displaying the fruits of her labor, as we often see with the Eight of Pentacles. Here we have the Nine of Pentacles. It looks like another tree spirit, maybe. Let's see. It says the secret garden. No, she's got a regular dress on, I guess. I don't see this. Let's see what it says. The dark fairy who is born from the shadows of the dark wood stands in her secret garden. It is her innermost sacrum, a place no one has ever seen but her. 9 pentacles blossom in the grapevines. A snail creeps near her foot. She casts her eyes to the side as if something or someone has caught her attention. So it's the culmination. Her culmination is to be left alone in her garden. So that's what she's looking for. Her idea of sort of finally having her own space and staying in her own space is her idea of everything coming together. The 10 of Pentacles. Shay, this is kind of cool. Sorry, but I know Shay is at least thinking about things. In the 5 of Pentacles, we had the gate to the underworld was blocked up, right? They were too tied up in their worldly problems. They were too tied up in the world around them to be able to travel into the underworld where you're really going to start to get to the juicy bits, right? And now in the 10 of Pentacles, the entrance has been cleared and you can now take the next journey into the tree and into the underworld, which is pretty cool. I like that a lot. Again, love the pages. She's dressed in the bark of a tree. The little girl pages to me are awesome in this deck. I actually like all of the quartz. I love him. Yeah, it definitely has a Quest for Camelot, like an adult version of Quest for Camelot. If you haven't seen it's like a Disney film, but it's not made by Disney. It's made by somebody else. But the music is by the Corrs, which is an Irish family Irish group that I loved back, I think, in the 80s, possibly. And the artwork feels like a grown-up version of the artwork of Quest for Camelot, which I love. Woo! Look at the Queen. We've been talking about sexy ladies in this deck. The Queen of Pentacles is comfortable in her own skin. She is at one with nature and knows she is not going to wear a dress between her and the tree. She is going to be comfortable and comfortable in her own body, which I think is what it says here. Let me find it again. Look at this right up here about this one. A door of life opens inside the ancient tree. Oh, it's the oldest tree in the woods, and you can enter into the oldest tree in the woods. I love it. So the page is a student. The queen or the knight is slow and steady, and the queen is the sensual goddess. She reflects a personality pleasantly entranced with the natural world and the ability to manipulate it. She is representative of physical manifestation and care of herself and others. Touch, sensation, texture of utmost importance, taste, form, aesthetics are high on her list of priorities. She commands all 5 physical senses and uses them to continually enjoy and embrace the experience of being alive. Fully embracing. And then we have the King of Pentacles, who is the builder. Yeah, she does a great job. She's really does a fantastic job. She's a really, he's the builder. He's got to have clothes on if he's going to be wielding a hammer. It's dangerous otherwise. Yeah. Okay, so we made it. Looks like we made it. Lost each other on the way. Birds of the apple tree and are constantly singing. Okay, let's see. Are these all in the right direction? Yes. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put my face up fully for a minute. Let me pull this up a little higher. I do like how I can kind of turn off the video to mess with this so that I don't make everybody nauseous. Okay, so now I'm gonna put that one in here. We are 2 hours on this one, but you know, what are we gonna say? What are we gonna say? We're gonna say nothing is what we're gonna say. We're gonna love it. I don't care. Ooh, yeah. I mean, you know, it's Llewellyn cardstock, which means it's laminated. There is definitely a glare to the lamination, but it does, you know, it riffle shuffles like a dream. Llewellyn cardstock riffles beautifully. I definitely want to find this color, this kind of agey greened, mustardy green color for the edges. Although you could do like a gray tone, like a green gray tone to it as well. You could even do black if you wanted because of the black. And that would probably look great on the other side where it comes through as a frame. So I might do black. I'm not sure. I'll have to think about it. So yeah, I mean, I like the shuffleability of Llewellyn because I'm a riffle shuffler, and it bridges beautiful and it shuffles beautiful, which I love. But I'm not a fan of the glare of it. I wish that was not have that glare to it. And I wish they were bigger because the artwork is amazing. So I do wish that the cards were bigger, but it's just, we're just going to throw some 3 cards down just so you can kind of see them together. Yeah, like a dark gray, or even some mixings of different dark, you know, from dark grays to blacks and kind of mixing them. I did that with one of my Wild Unknowns that I liked. So yeah, I mean, again, I think this is one of those decks that is willing to take a walk in the dark woods. It is definitely willing to do so. It's definitely a story, which it doesn't purport to be otherwise. It's a story of one woman's walk through the dark woods and what she's learned and how she's done that. There's a lot of female empowerment, taking back your power to the deck. There's definitely lots of sexy ladies. You know, the men that are in here are really well drawn and look fantastic. You see the lack of men the most in the major arcana, but that's because the major arcana is her story through the dark wood. So it makes sense that that's the way it is, but it's something to be aware of. Again, I don't like the creepy clown, but you know, it's pretty, it works with the theme. I think just knowing what the story is trying to do makes that understandable. And so whether it's something you choose to work with or not, it's going to be entirely up to you. But I was slightly disappointed when I first opened the box, with the size. I knew what the size was going to be. It was just that sense of, oh, I would like these cards bigger. And then when I just slipped through the major arcanas, I thought, you know, they've taken all the men other than I think in the Lover's card. But it makes sense when you read the story. And I think that it does have a real strength about the whole storyline. I'll also say that I think the guidebook is phenomenal. Like, I think not only do you have the benefit of the story, which is a lot of fun, but at the same time, I think the author does a really good job at looking at the different cards in ways that are consistent with the Rider-Waite-Smith, if you're comfortable with Rider-Waite-Smith, but she leans into the numbers a little bit closer to the way that I look at numbers. And she does a great job describing why the image is the way it is. It's not just for the fun of it. She has done some things intentionally, and she expresses those quite well. So all in all, I would have to say I am happy with this deck. It definitely gives me some inner child joy. And I think we'll wait and see. I will definitely use this. Patrick would kill me, wouldn't he? I was going to use the Star Tarot for my first Within Without Advice, but I don't know. I think I might have to walk into the dark wood. Oh, that was terrible. That's what happens when you try to not pay attention to what you're doing. I might have to use this and just kind of get a feel for how it's going to read. To see, I personally, I mean, again, I don't care about images for how I read. You know, for me, when I'm actually doing a reading, the Eight of Pentacles is the Eight of Pentacles. It doesn't matter for me what image is on there. So my base understanding of the card always supersedes the image. Then the image can come in and play. So I don't think I would have much of an issue with reading this because, again, I'm going to always start with my understandings of the cards. That has taken me a lot of time and a lot of work and many years. And so that's my base and that's my foundation. And then the next layer on top of that comes the images of the card and the story that deck is telling. So I actually think it's going to probably read just fine if you're willing to kind of walk into the dark wood. But we'll see. I will try to come back and do an update just to see how it ends up reading or not. But I think that definitely for creative writing, I used in writing stories for my more literature reading style class in November. I used the Enchanted Wood, which has a feeling of this, but that is much, this is an adult, sexier version of the Enchanted Forest, or what is that called? Forest of Enchantment. Force of Enchantment, which works really great for storytelling because there is that connectiveness to the cards. And this has a similar vibe to it. It's just different energies. This is the Enchanted Forest where animals talk and run and play. This is the Dark Wood where sexy vampires and such are. So that is, but it has a, whoa, sorry. That's kind of that feel, though, in terms of that linear storytelling. I feel like they have a similar connection. They have a connection in that sense of telling that linear story really well. So yeah. I wish you would do an Oracle deck. That would be awesome. This could be in the fall. A walk through the dark woods. Yeah, no, I can definitely see using it that way. Let's see. I think that Miss Nikki, who does much work for us on this channel, wants a message. Let's do a light and shadow message. A light and a shadow. Ooh, what's down here? I really like this Queen of Cups. I love the quartz. The quartz are gorgeous. Oh no, another... Okay, I'm sorry, Miss Nikki. I cannot hang up on my mother twice. So I need to, my mom doesn't call usually unless there's a reason. So I'm going to go be a good daughter and call my mother. So sorry, Miss Nikki. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to go to answer my mom, because she gave birth to me. And thank you all for having patience as you went through this with the tech not working great, my connection not working great. I appreciate it. Yeah, the card edges are stark white. They are not going to stay this way. So I am going to go. And thank you all for spending 2 hours with me, taking a walk into the dark woods. And I'll talk to you guys all later while I go calm my mama. All right, goodbye, everybody.